NDTV at Davos from January 20th to January 25th.
You are watching the World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Baba. Let's begin with the top stories you need to know. As per reports, Trump administration officials are considering deploying as many as 10,000 soldiers to the US-Mexico border and using Department of Defense bases to hold migrants awaiting deportation as they plan their dramatic crackdown on illegal immigration. Donald Trump has vowed to hit the European Union with tariffs and said his administration was discussing a 10% punitive duty on Chinese imports because fentanyl is being sent from China to the US via Mexico and Canada. Donald Trump has said he is ready to meet his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin anytime, but at the same time warned that he would likely impose sanctions on Russia if the latter does not come to the negotiating table on the issue of Ukraine. In a change of tone from his previous warnings about economic hardships, the Canadian leader is promising to help Donald Trump achieve America's golden age, which was alluded to in the US president's inauguration speech. Thailand is set to become the first Southeast Asian country where same-sex marriage is legal. Hundreds of couples will tie the knot in a mass ceremony in Bangkok to celebrate the law that goes into effect today. A big focus is the US. A deadly school shooting has rocked Tennessee. In fact, police say a 17-year-old Solomon Henderson opened fire in a cafeteria, killing 16-year-old Jocelyn Correa and injuring another student before taking his own life. The school, with over 2,000 students, had safety measures in place, including weapon detection technology. But this marks yet another tragic chapter in America's ongoing school shooting crisis. With 330 incidents reported last year, the second highest on record. Investigations into the motive are ongoing. We have a reaction from a parent of 2 children at the high school. Here's what they had to say.
The school did not call me until after the shooting occurred. I found out about the shooting because one of the kids that knows my 18-year-old was in the hallway playing, sending her a text message while she was sitting in the back seat of my car talking about, you need to come and get your sister because we got a shooting going on. And he was in the hallway playing and he ran out the building or whatever and jumped in his car. So then I kept on calling the office, and I could not get a hold of no one in the office to tell me anything.
In other news, Trump administration officials are considering deploying up to 10,000 soldiers to the US-Mexico border and using Department of Defense bases to actually hold migrants awaiting deportation as part of a dramatic crackdown on illegal immigration. According to reports, this follows an executive action signed by the US president declaring a national emergency along the southern border. The executive order also directs the Defense Department to provide troops and resources to support Homeland Security in gaining full operational control of the border and to assist in building border barriers to block migrants. By the way, Trump has warned that he will impose high tariffs and additional sanctions on Russia if Putin fails to end the war in Ukraine. In a post on Truth Social, Trump stated that by pushing for a resolution, he was doing Russia and President Putin a very big favor. But Trump, who has previously claimed that he could negotiate a settlement in a single day, is once again offering his intervention. While Russia has not yet responded to these remarks, senior officials have hinted that there may be a small window for Moscow to engage with the new US administration. And Putin has repeatedly said he is ready to negotiate, but only if Ukraine accepts Russia's territorial gains, which currently cover about 20% of the country. Ukraine, however, remains firm in its refusal to give up any land, although Zelensky has suggested he may need to temporarily cede some portion of his territory. And the US president is doubling down on his trade war threats. vowing to hit the European Union with tariffs and also discussing a new 10% punitive duty on Chinese imports. Trump has linked the potential tariffs directly to the ongoing fentanyl crisis, accusing China of sending the deadly drug into the US via Mexico and Canada. Trump's latest remarks came just a day after taking office, marking a sharp shift in his approach. Because despite pledging during his campaign to impose tariffs immediately, the president refrained from doing so at first, but now it seems he is ready to take bold action. But will these latest moves spark a global trade showdown? Well, for further clarity, we have with us Dr. Richard Benkin. He's live with us from Chicago at the moment. Thank you so much, Dr. Benkin, for joining us on NDTV. How might these escalate existing trade tensions? And Dr. Benkin, what ripple effects could we expect in the global markets?
Well, I actually would like to take my lead from your Minister of External Affairs, Jay Shankar, who reacted to the president's latest comments by saying it could very much be an opportunity, which I believe it is for India.
Right.
You know, several years ago, we would hear President Trump talk about India as being the tariff king. You really haven't heard very much of that. He certainly has reserved his concerns about countries or taking advantage of the United States, which is really what drives him, reserved it for countries like the European Union, certainly China, Mexico, Canada, but you've heard nothing about India. And I think yesterday's meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Minister of External Affairs Jay Shankar was an excellent start to what I think will be a real positive effect from all of this for India and the United States.
But sir, you know, Trump, as far as the tariff threats are concerned, he has described the US trade deficit with the European Union as evidence of unfair treatment. But is this being seen as rhetoric reflecting a genuine economic grievance, or is it more like political posturing for his America First agenda?
Well, I think that's an excellent question because I believe there's probably a bit of both. First of all, I think people who discount what Donald Trump says and believe that he's just bluffing or he's just using it as a negotiating ploy tend to find out that it's a mistake to do that. Certainly, the things he says, you know, are in part meant to become important points in an ultimate negotiation of greater issues. However, again, I think President Trump has shown over time and that if he's going to do that, he also is ready to pull the trigger and do what he is threatening if the negotiations fail.
Right. Well, we'll have to wait and see how Trump's threats, whether they push the EU and other nations closer together, potentially isolating the US in future trade negotiations. But we will, of course, revert to you for regular updates. Dr. Benkin, thank you so much for joining us.
Right.
And facing the threat of a looming tariff war with the US, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has gone from tough warnings to a new, softer approach, hoping a carrot will work where the stick didn't. In a shift from his previous talks about economic hardships, Mr. Trudeau is now offering to help Donald Trump achieve America's golden age, a reference from Trump's own inauguration speech. In fact, this week, Trudeau emphasized that Canada is a safe, secure, and reliable partner in an uncertain world, adding that the alternative would be more reliance on Russia, China, or Venezuela. But the focus on American prosperity and national security marks a new turn in Canada's strategy as it seeks to navigate the volatile relationship with the incoming Trump administration, all while trying to prevent a potential trade war that could severely impact the economies of both the countries. And by the way, in other news, attorneys general from 22 states have filed a lawsuit in the United States to prevent Donald Trump from ending the decades-old birthright citizenship policy, which guarantees US-born children citizenship regardless of their parents' immigration status. Trump's executive order, which was issued late on Monday and spanning roughly 700 words, fulfills a key campaign promise that he made. However, its outcome is uncertain, with a lengthy legal battle over immigration policies expected. The Democratic attorneys general and immigration rights advocates say the question of birthright citizenship is settled law, and that while presidents have broad authority, they are not kings. In other news, China is calling on the United States to end what it calls unreasonable sanctions, specifically those imposed in response to alleged cyber attacks. In fact, in a fiery statement at a press conference, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman urged the US to work with China to ensure peace and stability in cyberspace, while also demanding an end to what she described as indiscriminate sanctions. We have a reaction. Listen in.
中美都是网络大国，双方在维护网络安全，特别是关键基础设施安全方面有相似的关切。应该在平等和相互尊重的基础上，以事实证据为依据，开诚布公讨论各自关注的事项，遵守相同的国际规则，共同维护网络空间的和平与稳定。美方应当停止滥施制裁的错误做法。
Well, let's switch tracks now. Upbeat about the future of the India-US relationship, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar has said clearly there is an interest in the new Trump administration in taking this entire relationship forward. He also touched upon the issue of visa delays and migration. Listen in to what our External Affairs Minister had to say regarding migration.
We have a position on mobility which is a principal position, applies to all countries. As a government, we obviously are very much supportive of legal mobility because we do believe in a global workplace. We want Indian talent and Indian skills to have the maximum opportunity at a global level. At the same time, we are also very firmly opposed to illegal mobility and illegal migration because you also know that when something illegal happens, many other illegal activities get joined onto it.
Well, we're slipping into a very quick break. News and updates continue in a moment. Do stay tuned.
And I swipe it there. Pound rewards, मैं everywhere. कहीं से भी करूँ collect, spend करूँ direct.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn reward with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
Kind attention, please. Delhi Election Metro 2025 is arriving on People's Platform.
Please mind the gap.
BJP or AAP, who will get to the Delhi Secretariat station?
दरवाजे बाईं तरफ खुलेंगे.
Who will Delhi voters open the victory doors for? And who will be shown the door? Can the BJP throw AAP's victory run off track? Or will it be Kejriwal's ticket to win again? Can Congress take the election metro to revival? We will track it all for you. Delhi's decision destination.
Doors will open on the left.
Stay tuned to NDTV for mega metro poll coverage.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. a sacred confluence of faith, culture, and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Well, I'm in Altadena. This is one of the worst hit areas. When disaster strikes, NDTV World brings you exclusive on-the-ground reports straight from the heart of the action.
A neighborhood in Los Angeles that has been devastated by fire.
I just received an emergency alert extreme, which has come on my phone. Stay tuned for NDTV World's in-depth coverage as we bring you the real stories from Los Angeles. This is the Altadena area, and there are still fires, and there's a lot of smoke in the area. These houses completely gutted. This is reporting that matters only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Hello and welcome to the best of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
For 2 decades, NDTV has been a window to the world's greatest thinkers, leaders, Nobel laureates and stars at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
From Bill Gates to Shakira to Randy Zuckerberg to top ministers to what is often the biggest story, India, a global economic powerhouse. Conversations around our greatest challenges from AI to wars to sustainability. Join us, NDTV's Vishnu Shom and me, Neeraj Shah, as we engage with the world's finest. NDTV at Davos from January 20th to January 25th.
The future of infrastructure, the future of multi-nodal connectivity, the future of integrated rail, road and air transport. The future is here. Witness groundbreaking innovations and game-changing ideas at the Future Summit on 27 January, exclusively on the NDTV network.
Well, Donald Trump just sat for a taped interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity, and I'll tell you why this matters. Trump has hinted at shaking up the briefing room, and allies have praised unconventional news sources. But his first sit-down is with a long-standing, well-known TV host on the president's beloved network. Trump, by the way, tapped 19 people for his administration who have worked for the news company at one point, according to an analysis by NPR. But here's a snippet of what Donald Trump had to say to Fox News.
Let's talk about the moment you walked back in this office, this desk, this room, your carpet. How'd you feel?
Well, it was a lot of work, and as you know, I felt that we shouldn't have had to necessarily be here. Could have been done, a lot of work could have been, it would have been over. We wouldn't have inflation, we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan disaster, we wouldn't have October 7th with Israel, where so many people were killed, and you wouldn't have a Ukraine war going on. But with all that being said, I think it's bigger.
Joe Biden ran and said he would never do preemptive pardons. It was an issue that came up when you were leaving your first
time.
He
thought, he heard that I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was given the option. They said, sir, would you like to pardon everybody, including yourself? I said, I'm not going to pardon anybody. We didn't do anything wrong. And we had people that suffered. They're incredible patriots. We had people that suffered. You had Bannon put in jail. You had Peter Navarro put in jail. You had people that suffered. And far worse than that, they've lost their fortunes. They've lost their whatever, their nest egg. paying it to lawyers. And those people, and people said, and they wouldn't have even taken, most of those people, they wouldn't have even taken a pardon. This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And you know, the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon.
And in staying with updates from the United States, let's get you a quick update from California. At least 28 people have died as multiple wildfires, fueled by severe drought conditions and strong winds, rage across Southern California. Thousands of firefighters have been battling wildfires across 45 square miles of densely populated LA County, and one of the latest has prompted evacuation orders for tens of thousands of people. In complete contrast, by the way, severe cold weather is gripping the US South as a major winter storm brings record-breaking snowfall and frigid temperatures to the Gulf Coast. In fact, icy conditions have blanketed parts of the region, with the dangerous weather expected to continue. In response to the storm, governors across the South, including Florida's Ron DeSantis, declared states of emergency earlier this week, and for the first time ever, blizzard warnings were issued for parts of Louisiana and Texas, though they've since been lifted. The storm is affecting states from Texas to Florida as well as Georgia and has resulted in multiple deaths and injuries and caused widespread travel disruptions and closures as well. For further clarity to understand the extreme weather patterns, we have with us Abhinash Mohanty at the moment. As always, Abhinash, thanks so much for making time for us. We're seeing extreme weather patterns, record-breaking snowfall, as we've just said, freezing temperatures. On the other hand, wildfires burning through acres in LA. Can you explain what's behind this unusual shift?
Well, this is not an unusual shift, Parmeshwaran. Good morning. Good that we are discussing about two extremes. One extreme is about dry weather across the California region where you had severe wildfires.
Yes.
And it's a pile-up which has been coming in from years. And now the weather conditions across the Southern America, what you are seeing across the cold waves, is primarily a resultant of the polar vortex getting increased kind of intensity to become more chiller. Since 1980s, such a condition had never happened. And what is happening now is one part is facing an other extreme, and the other part is facing a contrastly opposite extreme, like a dry weather leading to wildfire, and the other part is super chilly.
Right.
So these are kind of coupled with the larger atmospheric and climatological phenomena. But at the same time, what is triggering is some way or the other, largely, is the carbon emissions which have been put into the atmosphere. As a result, what is happening is the seasonal patterns are shifting. The climate extremes across the global south is also following a similar pattern.
Right.
You will see extended summers, you will see extended winters, winters getting shortened somewhere, wherever you will see rainies, they are becoming incessant erratic. So these extreme events are going to be kind of felt more and more in coming days. And it's high time now. We need to understand that what state of emergency has been put out in these regions in Southern as well as in Northern America needs to be kind of looked at it from a pandemic perspective. Climate change triggered extreme events need to be kind of looked at from the lens of how we manage pandemics. Then only I think we can do some sort of firefighting in terms of what loss has already been done, what damage has already been done. And that's where I think it's going to be more science-led or empirical evidence-led public policy
that is the need of the hour.
Trigger. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much, Abhinash, as always, for making time for us and joining us on NDTV. We look forward to reverting to you for regular updates. And thank you so much for investing your time in watching this edition of The World 24/7. As always, we'll continue to track the latest for you. Do stay tuned.
Kind attention, please. Delhi Election Metro 2025. is arriving on people's platform.
Please mind the gap.
BJP or AAP, who will get to the Delhi Secretariat station?
दरवाजे बाईं तरफ खुलेंगे.
Who will Delhi voters open the victory doors for? And who will be shown the door? Can the BJP throw AAP's victory run off track? Or will it be Kejriwal's ticket to win again? Can Congress take the election metro to revival? We will track it all for you. Delhi's decision destination.
Doors will open on the left.
Stay tuned to NDTV for mega metro poll coverage.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Well, I'm in Altadena. This is one of the worst hit areas. When disaster strikes, NDTV World brings you exclusive on-the-ground reports straight from the heart of the action.
A neighborhood in Los Angeles that has been devastated by fire.
I just received an emergency alert extreme, which has come on my phone. Stay tuned for NDTV World's in-depth coverage as we bring you the real stories from Los Angeles. This is the Altadena area, and there are still fires and there's a lot of smoke in the area. These houses completely gutted. This is reporting that matters only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Hello and welcome to the best of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. For 2 decades, NDTV has been a window to the world's greatest thinkers, leaders, Nobel laureates and stars at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
From Bill Gates to Shakira to Randy Zuckerberg to top ministers to what is often the biggest story. India, a global economic powerhouse. Conversations around our greatest challenges from AI to wars to sustainability. Join us, NDTV's Vishnu Shom and me, Neeraj Shah, as we engage with the world's finest. NDTV at Davos from January 20th to January 25th.
The future of infrastructure, the future of multi-nodal connectivity, the future of integrated rail, road and air transport. The future is here. Witness groundbreaking innovations and game-changing ideas at the Future Summit on 27 January, exclusively on the NDTV network.